I should have listened to you earlier. You weren't just speaking. You were warning me, guiding me, loving me in ways I didn't know how to understand back then. Every mistake I made led me back to the truth you tried to show me, and now I finally see that you were right about everything, even when I refused to hear you. The more I replay our conversations, the more I realize every word you said was a map, and I kept choosing the wrong road until life forced me to admit you were right. I ignored your voice when it mattered most, and now I'm paying the price for the lessons you tried to spare me from. Because you were right, painfully right. You weren't trying to control me, you were trying to protect me. And I wish I had listened sooner because the world proved you right in ways that broke me. Sometimes the truth arrives late, and mine came crashing into my chest the moment I realized you had been right all along about everyone and everything. I thought you were overreacting, but life humbled me, and now I finally understand the depth of your wisdom. You saw what I was blind to. You didn't need to say, "I told you so." The silence between us says enough, because my heart knows now. You were right, and I was stubborn. I should have listened to you earlier, because every step I took without your guidance led me deeper into the chaos you tried to pull me away from. It took losing myself to understand you were trying to save me, and I wish I could go back to the moment I dismissed your voice. You warned me out of love, and I treated it like criticism. Now I know the difference, and I know you were right in every way that mattered. You saw the truth behind people's smiles before I did, and now that their masks have fallen, I finally understand why you tried so hard to protect me. Your intuition was stronger than my denial, and now that reality has unfolded just like you said. I can't deny that you were right about everything. I didn't listen when you told me who genuinely cared and who didn't. Now I stand here alone, wishing I had trusted your insight sooner. You weren't trying to win an argument. You were trying to keep my heart from breaking, and I'm sorry I didn't realize that sooner. You saw the storm coming while I celebrated the sunshine, and now that I'm drenched in the consequences, I know you were right all along. Every tear I shed now feels like a delayed apology because I dismissed the wisdom you offered so gently, and I wish I had just listened. Your words echo in my mind more loudly now than when you first spoke them, and each echo brings the truth that you were right. I should have listened to you earlier because you weren't predicting my fall. You were trying to keep me from it. Life gave me the same lesson you tried to teach me, just in a harsher way. And now I understand why you tried so hard to reach me. You read the situation better than I ever could. And now that everything has unfolded exactly as you said, I finally respect the clarity you tried to offer. I lose sleep replaying the moment I brushed off your concerns, because now I know those concerns were actually your love in disguise. You always had a way of seeing the truth beneath the surface, and I dismissed it as negativity when it was actually protection. I should have believed you, trusted you, followed your guidance, because every mistake I made led me back to the same conclusion. You were right. You warned me gently, and life warned me harshly. And now I understand the price of ignoring someone who genuinely cares. You weren't trying to scare me. You were trying to prepare me. And I wish I had understood the difference back then. Now that everything has unfolded exactly as you predicted, I can't even be angry. I can only be grateful that you tried to warn me. You saw danger where I saw excitement, and now I realize how deeply you understood what I refused to face. I should have listened to you earlier, because now I'm living the consequences you tried to save me from. You told me the truth I didn't want to hear, and now I wish I had listened to every single word. You tried to shield me from heartbreak, but I walked straight into it, thinking I knew better. Now I know I didn't. Your advice wasn't criticism, it was care. And I regret realizing that only after everything fell apart. Every time I replay your warnings, I can hear the love in them, and I can feel the regret in myself for not listening. You weren't trying to scare me, you were trying to save me. And now I know the difference between fear and foresight. You saw the truth long before I did, and now I finally understand why you tried so hard to make me see it too. I thought you were exaggerating, but now the reality I'm living in feels heavier than your words ever did. You wanted the best for me, even when I couldn't see clearly. And now I wish I had trusted your clarity instead of my confusion. I didn't understand your warnings back then, but now they hit me with a clarity that feels almost cruel. You were right long before I ever realized it. You tried to show me the truth gently, and I pushed it away. Now life is showing me the same truth harshly, and I finally understand your intentions. Your voice was the only one that came from love, but I treated it like noise. Now it's the only voice I wish I had followed. I should have listened to you earlier, because every step I took on my own led me into the exact pain you were trying to protect me from. You weren't being dramatic, you were being honest. And now I see how reality matched your warnings more perfectly than I expected. Your instincts were sharp, your heart was pure, and your advice was gold. But I was too blind to notice until now. You saw the cracks forming long before they destroyed everything, and now I understand the fear behind your words. I realize now that you were speaking from love, not control. And I regret dismissing your guidance when you were trying to keep me whole. You predicted the outcome with terrifying accuracy, and now I'm living in the consequences I could have avoided if I had just listened. I shouldn't have brushed off the concern in your eyes, because now I see you recognized the danger long before I did. You tried to warn me with patience, but I answered with stubbornness, and now I'm learning the lesson you tried to save me from. I should have trusted your clarity instead of my denial, because everything you told me unfolded exactly the way you said it would. You told me the truth gently. Life told me the truth violently. And now I can't ignore how right you were. Your advice brought peace, but I chose the path that brought chaos, and now I wish I had followed your voice instead of my impulses. You weren't trying to win an argument. You were trying to keep me from getting hurt, and I regret not understanding that sooner. I should have listened to you earlier, because now I'm paying the price of my own stubbornness, and your words echo louder every day. Everything you said would happen, did happen, and I feel foolish for ever doubting the wisdom you offered so sincerely. Your warnings weren't negativity, they were protection, and I regret mistaking your love for fear. You saw the red flags I ignored, and now I'm drowning in consequences I could have avoided if I had valued your insight. You were right about the timing, the people, the choices, and the risks, and I'm finally mature enough to admit it without excuses. I didn't believe you when you said my heart wasn't safe, but now I'm living in the wreckage you tried to save me from. You were right about the people I trusted, and now that they've shown who they truly are, your warnings replay in my head nonstop. I pushed away your wisdom only to run straight into the pain you predicted, and I wish I had listened instead of resisting. I realize now that your advice was the only thing rooted in love, and I failed to see it until love was exactly what I needed. You tried to guide me with kindness, but I mistook it for interference. Now I finally see the love behind every word you spoke. Your heart saw what mine refused to acknowledge, and now I'm living the consequences you tried to shield me from. You warned me because you cared, and I ignored you because I was naive. Now reality has become the teacher you tried to be. I now understand that your warnings weren't control, they were compassion, and I regret pushing that compassion away. You tried to steer me away from the people who didn't value me, and now I'm learning the truth about them the hard way. Your silence now hurts more than your warnings did then, because I finally understand that you were right in every way that mattered. I brushed off your worries, thinking I knew better, but now I see how deeply you understood what I couldn't see. You were right about the intentions of others, and now I'm carrying the weight of those truths with a heart full of regret. I should have listened to you earlier because your guidance was the only thing strong enough to save me from what was coming. You saw the future I was heading toward, and now that I'm standing in it, I understand why your voice trembled when you spoke. Your intuition was a warning. My denial was a mistake. And now I'm living the consequences I refused to believe in. I realize now that your concern wasn't criticism, it was care. And I wish I had recognized the difference sooner. You didn't want to be right. You wanted me to be safe. Unfortunately, life showed me how right you were in the most painful ways. Every moment of clarity I have now begins with the same truth. You were right, and I was too stubborn to see it. I regret not trusting your voice when it mattered most, because everything you predicted has unfolded with haunting accuracy.